Okay, kids, the next thing that we are going to study is basically the types of business organizations. We divide business organization to two major parts. One are called the public sector business organizations and the private sector business organizations. Let's talk about the definition of both public and private sector, and then we'll talk about the advantages of public sector businesses, and then rest of the chapters will be about the private sector businesses that are in more detail. Public sector businesses are those businesses that are owned and controlled by the government, the state. And they are accountable. They means government. To general public for those businesses like us, like you and me. And the private sector businesses that are owned and controlled by the private individuals or the group of individuals. These are two types of businesses, private sector and public sector businesses. The public sector businesses, we call them public corporations. Do not mix it with the term public limited company. We'll study it separately. But the public corporation is the name used for government owned and controlled businesses. Okay. Why government do such businesses? There are multiple reasons for that. Why government does such businesses, the public corporations? First of all, uh, there is a need of there is a need of making merit goods. There is a need of making public goods that are being ignored by the private sector because private sector is not finding them profitable, or to invest in a sector that is being ignored by the private sector. That is being ignored by private sector. Okay, let's talk about the advantages of public corporations. First of all, they are managed with the social objectives. Rather with profit objectives. Although there are some government sector organizations that are much into the profit earning too, but the main objectives of the government organization is not earning much of the profit. It's mostly the social objectives. Second, loss-making industries can still be continued because of the government funding with the help of government funding. In private sector businesses, the loss-making industries are immediately closed. But the government sector, the loss-making industries like PIA in Pakistan, like Pakistan Railways in Pakistan, like WAPDA in Pakistan, all of them are loss-making institutes in the businesses, but they can be still continued because they are providing some welfare or some services to the community. Third, they are not worried about finance because finance is raised by the government to run those industries. Coming to the disadvantages of public sector organizations. Talking about the disadvantages of government-owned businesses, they tends to be inefficient. Why so? Because the government-owned businesses are not much worried about the finances and all that. And even if they face competition, they are not worried about that because they know that if they fail in facing of competition, government will provide funds to them, and there is no problem of failure with that. As a result of that, they become inefficient in the market. They do not have the aims of profit. And as a result of that, they do not want to save the cost too. That's why we call subsidies from the government encourages inefficiencies. Third, government interferes in such businesses because of political reasons. For example, there are elections nearby that are coming. What government can do, government can uh, use such businesses for political reasons. For example, more hiring can be done in such businesses. As a result of that, um, um, such businesses again will continue to operate inefficiently, or government can advertise such businesses because government has done those businesses and provided some welfare to the society for the political reasons. So these are the things that can be done about the such businesses that are operated by the, and most of the businesses that are operated by the government are politically influenced, and that's why they are not in a position always to compete with the private sector businesses.